Va bene, ok, innanzitutto benvenuti a tutti e tutte e grazie comunque di essere venuti in questa sera un po' più, diciamo calda rispetto alle precedenti. Per fortuna abbiamo invitato lo sciopero proprio di poco, però appunto è un piacere darvi il benvenuto in Vedrai e ovviamente per una serata di talk incentrati su Python. Vi do una piccola introduzione. Vedrai, un'azienda di intelligenza artificiale nata 3 anni fa e quello che noi facciamo, ci occupiamo di aiutare le aziende a prendere decisioni importanti in momenti anche di estrema incertezza. Per cui stiamo lavorando su diversi prodotti che mirano proprio a risolvere questo problema. E ovviamente come azienda volevamo entrare un po' in contatto con sviluppatori Python per confrontarci, ma anche per dirvi che stiamo cercando persone, per cui se siete interessati a saperne di più, volete lanciare la vostra carriera nell'intelligenza artificiale, se questa è una direzione che volete prendere e soprattutto se vi piace lavorare con Python e Django, mettetevi in contatto con uno di noi, siamo un po' brandizzati stasera, almeno alcuni di noi, per cui molto volentieri scambiamo 4 chiacchiere anche solo per conoscerci. Niente, benvenuti, lascio la parola a Cesare. Scusa.
Un buono, scusa. Ok, a questo punto continuo in italiano, vado in inglese. Okay, I will switch to English for if there is some international people here. So, thank you, Vedrai, for having us. Who are we? We are Python Milano, a community open to developer hobbyists having fun with Python. And okay, this is again Vedrai. What we do meetups like this one. You can participate as a team lead, but also as a speaker if you want. We have a call for paper open always. Just I don't have a Vedrai, I don't have a Python Milano shirt, but come to me if you want to give a talk in our meetup. We do some having fun, hanging out with the PyBearers that we do sometimes during the year. And we also have a podcast in Italian. I'm sorry for English-speaking people. Intervista Pythonista, and we also have here a person that participates to our podcast. It's Riccardo Lorenzo, one of the first. Yeah, maybe you are in the background. Exactly. Okay, how to reach us? Just go on milano.python.it. And as I said, we have here a QR code. I don't know if you can point your camera here to open a call, to participate in our call for paper for new speakers. Okay, we have a bunch of hosts, Kraftwerk Software, Futura, Prima, Fiscozen, Mirta, and also Vedrai. I think we have to reorganize this slide a little bit. And thank you to Python Italia that gave us the microphones for Intervista Pythonista and some stickers. Unfortunately, I don't have stickers here. I'm very sorry about this. And also Division Lab that provides us the hardware for live YouTube streaming. We have also some major partnership with Django Girls, PyCon, and Python Biala Group that they have a new brand. We have to update also this one. And the Red Code. And last but not least, we started a spin-off of this meetup, which is called PyData Milan. And we will have a meetup also in February, I think, 22 or more or less in...
21.
It's 21.
And there is and it will be published in minutes, probably during this.
Okay, a lot of bugs into these slides. And okay, it's not for the dry, but if you have a firm want to sponsorship PyCon Italia, we will go there. I think Pietro and me will be present at PyCon Italia. Also Lorenzo will be present at PyCon Italia. And that's it for this presentation. Okay, so after this meetup, we will go taking a beer. It's voluntary. You are not. It's not mandatory to come with us, but if you want, we will get a beer after this meetup at American
Eastern River Pub.
East River Pub. And if you raise your hand now, we can have at least an idea of how many people will join us.
To join us after with the dinner.
You can change your mind. If you realize we don't mind.
It's not a thing. Speak now, and you all. Yeah. Okay. So did you? Okay. So. Django plus clean architecture plus wine, drinkable wine. Why I wrote drinkable wine? Because wine is also a Windows emulator that only me and Rigel maybe knows on Linux, and so I put. So how many of you knows about Django? So, okay, thank you. And so Django, to take it short, is just a web framework for Python, one of the most famous and also used by Vedrai. So it's a very mature technology, let's say. And basically, in this talk, I will do some storytelling about things that happened to me the day I wanted to try a freelance career, we can say. So, who am I? I'm Cesare Placanica. I work at Red Hat, mainly in DevOps for telecommunication, the telecommunication field, basically 5G. And okay, Datatoy. Datatoy, what is Datatoy? Datatoy, it's a sort of time series visualizator, okay, that I wrote in 2016, so almost 7 years ago. And why I did that? Because I was trying to see how is to do something freelance. And so I met Carlo. Who is Carlo? Carlo was a journalist for a magazine about wine. I mean, drinkable wine. and this activity was supposed to happen during my free time. And you will say, but why you did this? And I have a sentence by Antirez who said, reinventing the wheel can be nice if your wheel is a bit different or smaller, or just you want to learn more. And that's the reason why I did that. So this is the requirements that Carlo gave to me. I have some data in Excel files, and I want you to write an on-premise application, let's say something installable on the machine of the client on the PC, where customer can display the data, but I don't want to give them the Excel files. So you have just to display the data, but I don't want to give them the Excel files. And they said, okay, fine. Installing something on-premise should be okay, but maybe now, in 2016, we can go with a web application. And he say, okay, it was not very convinced, but. And I said, yeah, finally I can learn Django and Bokeh. Bokeh is a data virtualization library. And I chose Bokeh because basically I saw this video here on YouTube by Sarah Burt that explains during a PyCon in US why Bokeh, and I find it very, very interesting. So I wanted to learn Django, so my choice went on Django, and I also wanted to learn Bokeh and Bootstrap. Let's say this application is a vanilla style Django application. I mean, there is no APIs and stuff. It is not modern at all. Okay, so let me show you demo time. I always have this bad. Okay, Python. Okay, this is the command to run Django server in development space, and we can go here, localhost, down here the chart. So this is Datatoy, basically. I have imported an Excel file. Basically, this is data for wines between a range of 2005 and 2014. And basically, I can display it with Bokeh. Nothing special. And this is basically the project. Okay, then what happened? More requirements arrived, basically. When you have a client, it's not always a waterfall, let's say, process that all the requirements are clear in the first instance, but you have requirements coming during your journey. And so Carlos said, okay, it's nice, I can filter the columns, but it's possible to show the market share. And I said, yeah, I did it. I changed the view.py in Django and show this new feature to have the market share. But then there is another request. It's possible to show the variation year by year of the selling wine. And they said, almost done, wait a bit. Okay, basically what was happening was that the coding starts to messing up. So basically having all these use case in a view that basically it's a function, it's a mess. So and also meanwhile during Python Milano workshop, I think that Lorenzo was present in one of these workshops we did in 2016. No. Okay. There was a workshop done by Leonardo Giordani and Roberto Ciatti. Ah, do you remember that? Okay. Then basically they explained the clean architecture to us. And their example was clean architecture, refactoring basically with clean architecture a Flask application. So I had this idea, okay, I can do the same for my new requirements. The new requirements was the variation day by day of the data. And so I started doing this. But who knows about clean architecture? A little bit. Not much. So you will have an introduction about clean architecture. So clean architecture basically is a kind of stereotype to organize code. and decompose the code in composable pieces that can be put together to build something. It's plain old vanilla object-oriented stuff, basically. And the scope is to basically separate what is the infrastructure and what is the business logic. So the infrastructure in this case is Django. I don't want to be strong coupled with Django. And the business code is driving data on a view, on a Django view, basically. So we have a separation of concern in this case. There are many aliases for this. For example, like hexagonal architecture, port adapter, onion architecture, but what I like the most is basically this one by Robert Martin. I don't know if you knew this guy here. That basically it's organized in this way. In the center, in the yellow circle here, there are the entities that have no dependency. Is the core and the policies of your application. Around there is the business logic, which is the use cases. And around again there is the first layer that contains some stuff regarding how to visualize stuff, your use case to the world, basically. And so, as I said, entities, use cases, and presenters. In my little project, I chose presenters. I chose to use only presenters. But the important thing about this, let's say, map here, it's what is here in this corner. That is saying basically that the presenter will call an interface in the inner circle. This is dependency inversion. So the use case code that basically orchestrates stuff, it's called, is not, it's the presenter is calling an interface that is defined in the red layer, and not the opposite. So this is the trick, basically, that enable you to have a clean architecture. So dependency inversion is what you need, let's say. The other trick is that in your own code, all dependencies point inwards. So the entities, the use case depends on entities. The presenters depends on use cases, and not the other way. And the final takeaway, let's say, about clean architecture in the Bob Martin, let's say, lingo, it's that the entities and the use case does not depend on nothing. So entities and use case do not depend on stuff in Django. And in this way, this we can say it's a clean architecture. I don't like very much this, this name, but this is the lesson that Bob Martin said to us. So, okay, this here, it's a repetition of what I have already said. So the dependency rules, that dependency points are only inwards. This is important, I didn't say it. During the crossing boundaries phase, you can change some simple data structure. In this case, in the data toy case, I chose to use order set. So basically, the key is the name of the column, and the value, it's the list of the values in the time series, something like this. And okay, and this is a repetition of what I said, and use the dependency inversion principle. Oh, sorry. Okay, so what I have in my application is a shared data entity, I have use cases to manipulate data in the entities. I have repositories that produce entities into a DB or in Excel. And I have the presenters that get data manipulated by use cases and displayed to charts. And when I cross the boundaries, I just pass order edict around, basically. Okay, maybe I can show you the code, not just the slide, in some way. Okay, this is the application, basically. It's the chart application. And you can see here that we have entities. And this is the chart entity, the chart data entity. That's just, it's very little. Basically, it contains just the name of the columns and the columns. And as you can see, it's dependent on nothing. There are no dependencies in this model here. Then there are the use cases somewhere. Last order, yes, it's alphabetical order, sorry. And we have the chart use cases. And also here, you can see that the only dependencies is the entities. Is this here? Zuma? Huh. Wow. Okay. And these basically are the use cases here. And we can say that basically the use cases are classes selected by these by this drop-down menu. So basically, I can, for example, display the raw data. I can display the market share using the percentage. So we can see that, for example, this is Italy, this is France, and this is Spain, of wine in millions of liters. And I can also show the last feature that Carlo said to me to do. Basically, it's the day-by-day variation. It's a sort of derivative, and it's something like this. So basically, now I can mix and match a lot of stuff, just choosing the right class here into the chart use cases. As you can see here, there is a filterable chart use case, which is the base case. There is a percentage chart use case, and also the percentage variation use case. And basically are chosen using this drop-down menu. And so, basically, without changing the view, so the idea is that without changing the view, oops, what? No. The view code is a little bit charts, views. The clean architected view, let's say, is this one. So it's now static. Basically, there are some factories that are driven by the drop-down menu, and I choose to create the right use case by using the drop-down menu. And in this way, this view never changes. I just built around it, just choosing the right object to use as a use case. So the use case basically done data manipulation. But then Carlo came up with other requests. graphical requests, let's say. And we can go again here. Okay, I can filter, I can see the percentage variation, but I don't like the graphics. And he said, I was prepared in this case because, okay, you don't like the graphics, but I have a use case and I have presenters. So I can work on the graphics just on the presenters. For example, he said, I want a value popping up like in Excel. And I said, no problem. We can go here, and we can use the other drop-down menu. Basically, the other drop-down menu selects the presenters. You can change the presenters and change the bokeh code to display in another way the same stuff. So use case do data manipulation, presenters do change the visualization. And for example, I can choose line with dots. And now, as you can see, I have a pop-up. So I basically encapsulated all the stuff to visualize the pop-up into the presenters classes. And there are a lot of problems because I don't like the way the pop-up came out and stuff like this. But I was prepared because any little requirement he gave me can be implemented in a new presenter or changing an existing presenters. Okay. And then he said, okay, but in the end, I want that from that web application, I can download the data for Excel. And I said, okay, I write a new presenter to export data in Excel. And I effectively did it. And then he said, okay, in the end, I will prepare that can be downloaded. And I said, yes. But you know what I think you need is just Dropbox, and the project ended in a way. But at least I have a big bottle of Prosecco, and so I was very glad, at least for this. So, lesson learned. Customers are tough. So it's really difficult having being a freelance and having clients, so you are great guys for having this. And another thing that I forgot to mention is that using a clean architecture, you can, in a way, clean architecture and test-driven development work in synergy because all my refactoring was done basically in TDD. If I stop here and just invoke talks, you can see that there are a lot of tests running here. Oh, okay. There's something wrong. Okay, so why I say this? Because basically if I go here into charts, test, for example, use cases, and test use cases, you can see that my only, in this case for use cases, my only dependencies is entities. Again, just writing an entity, which was a simple class, as you saw. I can show you it again. Oh my gosh. Charts, entities. It's a very simple class. It's just a title, a name, an x-axis, and some columns, basically. The x-axis is just the dates, and the columns are the data for the time series. For basically testing the use cases, the only thing I need was the entities, and this is why in the test for use cases are present only the entities. For example, I think that for the presenter, I don't remember well, but maybe for the presenter, I didn't use use cases, but I mocked them. So I can write everything in isolation. And continuing with the wrap-up. Okay, so clean architecture basically improves pluggability. So if you have, for example, two forces, and in this case are the use cases and the presenters, you can write just a new class to extend your application. Imagine you have to, for example, do the market graph with 3 or 5 3 or 5 ways of present data. If you do this in a view, in a Django view, which is just a function, it will become a mess of if, else, and stuff like this. In this way, you have just a factory that installs your particular presenter for that, and you can mix with the other concept, the data manipulation that is basically provided by the use cases. Okay, so you can enforce your interfaces using tests. This is no more true because now Python have type ints, but in 2016 it doesn't. So basically, I also wrote tests to enforce interfaces. All the wiring happens in the view.py. And with Django, you can also be practical because in the end, my only goal was to provide a clean architecture just for displaying graphs. But I can use, for example, index views or Django stuff. For example, here. Oops, I stopped. For example, here. This is a simple index view. So just concentrate of what you want to be extendable and not just cutting away all the framework. And there are a lot of Django features that are available, like authentication, admin, etc., etc. And also I have discovered some nice stuff. So if you want some reference, this is what you have to read about it, especially the Growing Object-Oriented Software Guided by Tests by Stephen Freeman and Nat Price, if you want to approach a TDD, let's say, development. And there are also some kata. One that is wonderful by Leonardo Giordani in his blog, but there is also a birthday greetings kata, which is a refactoring towards clean architecture by Matteo Vaccari. And there is also something in Scala, wrote by Matteo Baglioni, onion architecture with pure functional programming source, and I did it. So, but. And that's it. Sorry for this long presentation.
Questions? Are you and Carlo still friends?
It's not the Carlo that sometimes is hanging out here. It's yeah, we are yes, friend, but I said no, basically that Carlo. Too much. You say to me that you don't want to give Excel files to your clients, and then you say, okay, give Excel file to your clients, and so it's done. Exactly.
Also, what is your opinion on test-driven development?
Sorry?
What is your opinion on test-driven development?
My opinion is what I wrote in the slide. So it's a great tool if you decide to work with a clean architecture. I mean, the great advantage is that, for example, when I was writing the use cases, I just needed the entity. The entity was a trivial class. And so basically, I was able to test my data manipulation without using Django, without using anything. And I found really fantastic this way of working. So you you concentrate yourself on your business logic. In this case, the business logic was the data manipulation. So filtering columns in the first case. In the second case, calculate a percentage, so a market share of the wines. In the third case, it was day-by-day variation, a sort of derivative. And I was able to do it just using the entities and store some tests. So I found fantastic this way of working. So in a way, test-driven development enables you to write decoupled stuff in a way. I don't know if I answered the it's an interview for.
Any other questions?
Thanks for the presentation. Just wanted to ask, okay, probably not directly related to the topic. Probably over the past 7-8 years, Python has evolved, charting libraries have evolved, many things have evolved. If you knew all the requirements in prior, and if you were to do it again from scratch, what kind of stacks or technologies, or I don't know, just techniques in general would you use?
Yeah, the problem is that you don't need a lot of requirement in prior. It goes it goes every time in this way. The requirements. I mean, I worked in Cisco almost 20 years, and Cisco was a hardware manufacturer. There was also software, but it's also an hardware manufacturer. In this way, a waterfall process in the hardware, I mean, it's, let's say, feasible. But in software, it's impossible. So my idea is that, okay, you can also not start in this way, but it comes the time that you have to, I don't know, lower down your technical debt and try to decouple stuff. There is a great video by Shopify, for example. It was a Ruby on Rails application that it says something like this, breaking the monolith, not to do microservice, but just to make it more modular. And it's always like this. There is a moment that you can start with a technology, you agree to use what the technology brings to you, but in the moment you inherit a class from the framework, you are done. You are basically chained to this framework. And I felt like this during this little project. I felt that it was not so easy to extend my display view. And so I refactored to clean architecture just that particular view, not all the application, but and it was nice because when new requirements arise, I was prepared in a way. I have my station hooks in my software, and I was happy because anytime Carlos came up with a new requirements, okay, done. 2 hours, done. I don't know if I answered the question right, but the reality check is that requirements never come. Customers don't know exactly what they want, and the requirements come in the way.
Okay, other questions? That's it. Thank you, Cesare.
Right. Just a couple of minutes to switch the PC and
Yeah, we'll allow
we'll be
10
back.
minutes.
10 minutes,
To
okay.
switch. And
We
there's
have,
something here if you want, if you have your throat parched, and if you like a quick snap. So in 10 minutes we're going to start the new the other presentation by